I've got all you CB fans out there. We've got the radio on tonight. Just listening in. And we've also got this one on. But at the minute, what we're going to do, I'll show you. I want to take off, then I'll move the camera around, and I'll show you the anti-collision on the drone. Just sorting out my other phone. I've also got the extended landing legs on tonight. But these bits clip on. I wouldn't have really advised them. Hello there, Nick. I wouldn't really advise using them outdoors. Even though it does fly outdoors, but obviously these are for indoor use. So I'm just sorting this other phone out. What do I need? I need brightness. Yeah, that's all good. Well, I'm just going to sit the drone down and I'll take off and then adjust the camera so you can see where I am. First of all, we need to plug the controller in. And this is on the DJI Mini 4K, but it also works on all the minis, I think. The Mini 2 for sure. What we're going to do, turn on the controller, which is opened up. More software updates. Do that later. I'm going to turn the drone on now. Hello there, Luke. How you doing? Hello to everybody tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, depending on where you are. Right. Just charge the batteries are all charged. Does a little gimbal test where it just sweeps the camera around. Now what we're going to do, we're going to just open up the app, Go Fly. I'm just going to wait for enough satellites, even though we don't need satellites because we've got the protection on. I'm going to see. Yeah, I've got to wait for some of these satellites to connect up. Yeah, you can film anything with it. I could film concerts and things like that at a distance. Basically, well, don't matter what category you're in. I can fly over most things. I can fly over people that are not involved in my films. I can fly over houses, buildings, private buildings. But I'm not allowed to fly over crowds. You know, like big crowds that couldn't move out of the way, if you get me. Obviously, one line of people in a queue, I could fly over them because they could move to the left or to the right. I'm talking about big old crowds, do you know what I mean? That are 6 deep. I can't fly over them. I'm not allowed to fly over them. We've got 5 satellites, unable to take off though. But I believe I can just unlock that. And we're out. What you got here, look? The camera. See that there? We bumped into the side there. I'll deliberately bump into it. See that there? What we'll do, we'll just fly over and bump into it. See that? As you can see, I'm just going to land it. There you go. As you can see, it works very well. And obviously that collision system would work outside as well, but to be honest with you, you have to put, you got a payload. Obviously, I can carry weight on that, on the DJI drones. It's got like a payload option, but I've noticed if you click on that, it sort of limits your speed, but yeah. Hello there in the chat room. But yeah, that's how that works. I think, to be honest with you, I think it works really, really well. When I first started using it, I was a bit dubious and thought, but I just thought, well, I'll just fly into the wall and see what happens. Yeah, and all that happens is you bounce out. You could still mess up though, don't get me wrong. If you flew up into a tree, and the branches, the sort of twigs were hanging down like that, and you flew up like that into it, I believe that would stop your drone. But it's good for bouncing off trees and bouncing off walls, but it is only for indoor use. But all I can say is I've only been using them. Hello, mate. I'm very well, thank you. I hope you're well. I've only been using them. I've only had them a couple of days, and I think I've mastered it. See, you master flying around indoors with them on, and don't hit anything. Like I've deliberately hit things there to just show you what it does. Just bounces off. But I can actually fly around the house, not touch anything. I haven't actually took them off yet and flown around the house without them. But I believe that once you master this, like I have now, that you can take them off and then fly around the house without them. That's what I think. That's if you're a quick learner. But yeah, what a good bit of kit. The other bit of kit that I've got is, well, the other new bit of kit. Yeah, the only gripe I've got about the propeller protectors is they're pretty hard to snap off. Got little like snap-on bits there, and I'm having to find scared of losing it. I'll explain in a minute why you can't really lose it. Yeah, it's quite hard to snap off. I can snap one off, but I'm having to take a little knife or a little screwdriver to snap the other ones off. I'd like to be able to snap them all off by hand, but they're not a DJI made product though. But what I will just say is this is not a DJI made product, but it's actually better than what DJI made. So I'll show you this quick. Which is the propeller protector that you see right around the propellers. The DJI one, if I've got it next to me, see some, oh no, where is it? There it is. It's here, look. I'll do a little, I'd have to take them propellers off the fucking drone, that's the thing. Only if they all clipped off easily. You lost the phone then, if they all clipped off easily. Right here, there's one off. Wow, two off. I've had a couple of drinks, maybe that's why I'm getting them off, who knows. Wow, that's the first time I've took all three off. I won't have the strength to do this one. No, man, that's just like, wow, that's the first time I've done that. Maybe I should have a few drinks when I do that every time. Anyway, I'll just show you. This is the extension legs, which is really good for taking off. It means now I can take off in grass, over mud. But what I'll just show you, I'll just put the gimbal cover on. Main thing you got to protect on these is really the camera. That's where all the money is in the camera and in the chip, I would imagine. Saying that they're pretty good. Anything goes wrong, it will tell you. It's well intelligent. These drones are. Anyway, I'll just answer them questions quickly in the chat room now. I need my glasses on. Where are my glasses? Got some big old new glasses, man. Till I break them. What about Liverpool drawing with Spurs? Fucking hell. 1-1, wasn't it? Fucking 1-1. Should have been 1-0. I've got to turn that immersion heater off, or the heating, because it's just like too hot. But yeah. The broken one's over here. I use that as a charger at the minute. All you need to do to get this going is you probably need to top a bit of the case and one of the arms. Possibly one motor. Still, it's cheaper than buying it new. A minute. Can't even see that message. Yeah, I'll just show you this quick. The DJI one goes over and just sits on there like that with a strap that goes over the front. This one, which is not made by DJI, goes over the motors, and then you got a strap. I'm just preferring this one. My glasses must be up here. Let me put them wing protectors. There they are. Excuse my big old glasses. Means I can read properly. Oh, that's the first question about losing it. You've got a return to home function. So basically, whenever you power this up, it'll record. Obviously, it connects to the satellites, about 20, 30 of them. What that does, that records where you are. So where you are on the planet. It'll record exactly where you taken off from. And as long as you follow the rules, when your battery goes or you lose signal or anything, it'll return to home. And what that is it'll return to the spot that you took off from. But you have to have certain things set in it. When it's returning to home, it doesn't know where trees or big buildings are. So you have to set your return to home height. I've got mine, because I live in the countryside, and obviously I've got that big tower you might have seen me flying around, which is the highest sort of tower in Britain. I set mine quite high, so no matter what, I'm flying at 90 meters coming home, which is above everything. Power lines, everything. You're not going to hit anything. Well, that's why you got to have a visual line of sight. You don't know what you're going to. I mean, 3 or 4 times now I've had things come down, like planes and helicopters come down where I am, so I've had to move. But yeah, I'll return to home every time. And even if it doesn't, right, it tells you, say you're flying out, you've gone out 3 or 4 miles, and then your battery gets low. It works out, you see, it's a smart battery. It's got a little chip in it that works out distances and everything. And it tells you, you've got 5 minutes more flying before you've got to return to home. But you can, when it starts beeping at you, return to home, you can override it. But I'll tell you what happens when you override it. When you override it, it'll let you go. So you're going further away than what it's telling you to do. So you're basically ignoring what it's saying. Anyway, what'll happen in the end, I think it'll give you another return to home which you can then, nah, I'm carrying on going. But what I'll do eventually, I'll make an emergency landing. And what happens then is it's just going to land. But it can't differentiate between water. It doesn't really understand. It doesn't really understand water. You've got to fly quite above water, so your sensors don't get that. But it could land anywhere. You know what I mean? It could land in your next door neighbour's garden, or the front garden, or on, you know what I mean? It won't land on a roof or anything like that. It will land on the ground, but it will land anywhere on the ground. You know what I mean? It doesn't know what owns the land underneath. It's just going to land on it. How you find the drone then, after it's done an emergency landing, if you go onto this controller, you can basically, it will show you a GPS map of exactly the house that it's landed in. Which is okay if it's landed in the front garden. You can nip round and have it away. But obviously if it's landed in the back garden, you got to then knock on a door or two. Yeah, that's how that works. Yeah, the CEX ones, man. Yeah, I was looking at them, and which could be quite a good buy, really, because you get a warranty with them, see, for a year from there. And cash converters, I had quite a few in. Yeah, I guess the one for over £1,000 might have been I don't know what that was, but yeah, it's probably a DJI one. But with a DJI drone, you're getting a proper drone, man. I'm not saying the toy ones are not, but you're getting more. You can do more with this. But as I said before, the toy drones, I've still got mine down there in the bag. Brilliant for learning. In fact, I would say don't get a DJI if you're new to the scene, like I was. Get a toy one, cheap one. Well, I say cheap. That's still worth. I think I paid 169 for that one. And it's got a built-in screen on the controller. GPS as well. That's what I learned on. But then as soon as I swapped from the sort of my learning drone to a DJI one, it was just, as soon as I got up and pressed go, went through the sky, I thought, wow, look at that go. And the noise it made was just crazy. Yeah, it probably was DJI. They've got the market. They've got the whole market. But they're going to light years ahead of anything else. Literally light years ahead. There's a lot of other ones coming out there, don't get me wrong, who are trying to compete with them. But where they know it all, they've got it down to a T, and they're that far ahead of everyone else, they've just got the market where drones are concerned. Which is, that's the way it goes, isn't it? It's now down to the other companies to get on board, get their gear up to scratch, then have a price war. That means us, the consumers, can then get it a bit cheaper. But yeah, I've got a bit of discount now. I've got, where is it? My insurance and all that. I've got this little card. And I can basically get quite a bit of money off of different things. So I'm going to... that's got my insurance on it. My flyer ID. My operator ID. That's all I need. And that's £5 million public liability insurance. And that was £33 a year. And basically the next course that I'm doing, because I've now joined this, which I didn't know, I can actually get discount off the course I'm doing, which is basically going to take me into the world of working with a drone every day, like as your job. I spoke to the DWP actually about drones, and they just haven't got a clue. Yeah, but never mind. They will have in the future. But yeah. This is the future. Drones are the future. Anyway, I'll be back later. This was just a little drone video just to show you them propellers, which came in a pack. I got the yeah, I did. Yeah, I got a ring back. They said they'd do it, but they want to know things about drones. They want me to educate them in drones. I said, look. I said, you're telling me to educate you. Ain't you the one supposed to be educating the people that are looking for work? Anyway, yeah. I'm going to have another conversation with them because I ended up putting the phone down on her. Yeah. But I've got a few routes I can go down to get that funded. I think I can go down the social services route as well because I've like got a social worker and whatnot. I can go down the ADHD autism route, which would probably be a lot quicker than going down the DWP route, I think. Even though I can go to another part of the DWP, which have to help me as well. Because every person that's got ADHD, you're allowed, I forget what they're called, but it's a certain worker. And it's thousands of pounds, man, for people to do training and that. But she didn't have a clue about what drones were there any drone jobs out there. And I thought, well, I'm not going to educate you on that. If you need me to tell you that, you know what I mean? You shouldn't be working for the DWP. That's what I think. But it's all good. There's various routes I can go down. And if it comes down to it and they'll say no, I'll just pay for it myself. But I don't think I have to. I don't think I have to. Basically, when you've got autism or ADHD, when you go to do any jobs or any training, if there's anything that gets in your way and you do things differently to what a normal brain would do, I forget how many thousands of pounds it is there that's available to people, but it's like ridiculous amounts. But you got to imagine there's probably some people that in a wheelchair, you know what I mean, can't move. I've cared for people like that with MS. Look, he can only move his head. They're going to need all the money, do you know what I mean? I'm not even looking for loads of it. I'm just looking to pay for that. And that would bounce me into the industry. But they're saying, what industry? That's what they're saying. Like, where can you tell me where the jobs are? I said, yes, Sky Sports or anywhere. Do you know what I mean? This depends what I said. It's not just one sort of drone job. I said, there's fucking 10 or 20 sort of drone jobs. You know what I mean? You could do real estate, houses, you could do weddings, you could do anything. Sky Sports. And there's loads of jobs. I said, well, look at Gatwick. Once I get this certificate, it'd open up the doors to about 30 jobs at Gatwick. They're looking for people to do the drone safety stuff on the ground. So if someone's planned a whatever, I look at it to make sure that's safe, and I implement anything I think might make it safer. There's loads of jobs going. That's what I'm looking at, all sorts, mate, at the moment. But to be honest, Gatwick, the money that's there, I'd go for that. And basically, what the job would do, what the certificate would do, is just open all that up to me. No, I don't have to go to the job centre. See, that's a good thing. I was on something that was called ESA. I don't know if anyone's familiar with ESA. Employment Support Allowance, but where I've just been diagnosed, I've been put in the not back to work group, so I don't have to do it. I just at the minute I'm getting used to my condition, so I don't have to talk to them. Or like the universal credit, you're supposed to go online and all that. I don't do it. I haven't even got an online account. I said I do everything verbally. Because if you send me any forms, my ADHD, I'll just be looking at them for 10 years. But yeah, they can't actually force me into anything. Plus, I'm going to make sure what I earn, obviously, if what I can earn completely smashes what I'm getting now, all the better. But if not, I'll just do enough so I don't go over my limit, if you get me. And I won't lose out. But I think I can earn about 250 quid a week anyway, without anything changing. Oh mate, yeah, going from fortnightly, like we have been, yeah, I found that a bit of a bore. Well, you got so used to it. But yeah, like as soon as they said, right, we're swapping over, I thought, here we go. You got to go online, do all this. I said, well, I've got to stop you there, mate. I said, I ain't going to be going online. I ain't going to be doing any of that. They said, why is that then? I said, well, you have a look at my diagnosis. And then they said, well, you can just have an offline one then. So mine's kind of offline. Fucking, yeah, I do. I can have it fortnightly, but I've got to write a letter. But I can't be bothered. Yeah, everything monthly. I get what's called personal independence payments as well, which is not to do with what illness you got. It's to do with how your disability affects you. Obviously, mine affects me quite a bit. Yeah, I get that once a month as well. But yeah, it's kind of annoying, especially when you've been used to it fortnightly and you're geared around what you do normally on a fortnight. When you get paid, you go and pay your bits and bobs and do your whatever you're up to. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, it's nicer. What I've found, it's nicer having a big lump sum like that, but it's not nicer when you got not a lot of money sent and you're spending like it's going out of fashion. Do you know what I mean? That bit I'm not enjoying. This is Scar. Bad Manners. I was going to play Bad Manners tonight, but I thought I'd just do this drone video. But it's dragged on a bit, but it's all good. At least I can see now. But yeah, the protectors for the drone. I'm going to put this one back on charge, even though it's fairly charged. Hello mate, how you doing? I'm all good, thank you. To everybody that's asking there. Just going to plug this drone in. So anything about these drones, it takes like an hour to charge them up, man. The Sikhs, hello there. Did a lot during the war. The Sikhs did. So I know quite a bit about history. In fact, the Sikhs had a RAF unit, I believe. All Sikh flyers. Which one? I forgot now what you're talking about. What were we talking about? You're asking what one? Right, Patrick's saying it charges faster. I haven't got a battery charger, mate. So you've just told me to buy one. I've got a 30 watt charger, which is what I'm using, my Huawei 30 watt. But yeah, obviously the proper DJI charger is a bit more wattage then. Crazy, eh? I might have to get quite expensive, don't they, them chargers? Yeah, I was thinking, how does that drone charge that? Like, obviously it's in the size of the chargers. But obviously try one built in now, like it's doing now. That's like charging now. I'm just charging it through the back port there. Yeah, I've seen the non-branded ones. I guess they're just as good as the deep. Well, I don't know whether they're just as good. I wouldn't know. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have. I've just bought a new battery, so I've now got 3 batteries, which I'm finding is now enough. Obviously, 2 batteries like an hour flying around wasn't really enough for me. I was just getting into it when it all just died. So now I've got 3 batteries, which I have found is enough for what I need to do. All I do is fly around the countryside, flying around looking at buildings. But yeah. Anyway, let me take this controller out. Hello there, Jonesy, how you doing? Where's that gone? Don't tell me I've lost that. Don't tell me I've lost the little thing. How could I have lost that? Well, you just done it. Music festival. It'd be ideal for things like that. I'll be back later, people. I've got to sort this out before I lose any more of it.